this attack shook the foundation of this ancient city. The kind of damage that was done can be seen from the fact that the defenses that had served the city for almost 1500 years.
What? 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 1500 years? 1500, bro, that's how you know the Huns were absolute menaces, bro. 1500 years. Suggestion, he's been asking me to do this, you know, videos can be a bit shorter when Huns attack Varanasi.
The year is 501 AD. Torman, the ruler of the Alkan Huns, now controls the region of western and central India.
Oh wow.
And
so we have an Indian here. This is unusual. I'm used to either hearing people with thick Arabic accents or like some Western European or American accent be the narrator.
he has conquered these territories in just 3 years. But there is still one big obstacle left for him, and this is the Ganga Valley. Ganga Valley presently.
Bro, I need to read a book on Indian history. Or should I say the Indian subcontinent history. This place is absolutely rich with history, has so many empires and whatnot. I need to go learn more about this. If you know any books that I can read about like the time span of Indian history, definitely do let me know.
Is controlled by the Guptas, and it is also the core of the Gupta Empire. So because
I've heard of the
this,
Gupta Empire, but I don't know much about them.
A threat to these Hunnic territories of a Gupta counterattack. The Guptas could also cut the access of the Huns to these conquered territories from their base in Punjab and Gandhar. So because of these threats, it is important for Torman to conquer the Ganga Valley. And in this video, we will talk about how Torman went on to conquer the Ganga Valley. This campaign of Torman to conquer the Ganga Valley most likely started in Mathura. Mathura had been under the control of the Hunas from the beginning of Torman's conquest. So it made sense that he should start his campaign in the Ganga Valley from Mathura. Now we do not know after crossing the Yamuna river whether the Hunas encountered any Gupta army or not. But what is clear is that when the Hunnic army entered the Ganga Yamuna Doab, their main target.
So the Huns went all the way to India. Golly, man. I knew the Huns were absolute menaces at their peak, but like, geez Louise, man.
Target was the city of Kaushambi. During this time, the city of Kaushambi was an important political center for the Guptas, and I personally believe that it was also the administrative capital of the Gupta Empire. So perhaps because of this, Kaushambi became the main target of the Hunas. Now we could argue that the Huns before reaching Kaushambi did not fought any serious engagements. This was most likely because of the mobility of their forces. We already know that the Hunnic army was comprised largely of cavalry. So this meant that the Hunnic armies reached relatively quickly to Kaushambi, and the defenders of this city did not have the time to shore up the defenses. Although we do not know how long the siege lasted, but what is clear is that the Huns were able to conquer this city, and from the archaeological records it appears that the Hunnic victory was followed by the destruction of the ancient city. In the excavation, we see that the levels belonging to the early 6th century show us that the city witnessed destruction on an unparalleled scale. The entire area was burnt down, and the buildings were almost razed to the ground. This type of destruction was the result of a violent assault on the city, and this attack shook the foundation of this ancient city. The kind of damage that was done can be seen from the fact that the defenses that had served the city for almost 1500 years.
What? 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 1500 years? 1500, bro, that's how you know the the Huns were absolute menaces, bro. 1500 years defending the city, and the Huns were able to break through that. But the Huns couldn't break through Constantinople. Yeah, the Huns couldn't break through the walls of Constantinople. But still, though, that's still noteworthy. What? 1500 years, dude. Nah, bro. Dude, I would not. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, early ancient to early history is like any and everything could literally just come, and it was just extremely barbaric. But to be honest, out of all the barbaric things that this time period have had, I would not want to face the Huns. I would not want to face the Huns. The Huns were just no. No, thank you. I would rather. I'm thinking in my head Vikings or Huns, because Vikings are also kind of really, really. They also had a big impact too. A Viking army versus a Hunnic army. I think a Hunnic army would easily destroy a Viking army. That's not even. Yeah, that. Come on now. A Hunnic army would definitely body a Viking army. 100%. Yeah.
were finally abandoned. The city never recovered from this attack, and these defenses were never repaired. From the same level, archaeologists have also discovered barbed arrow heads. These types of arrows make their appearance for the first time in large number, and most likely these arrows were the arrows of the Huna attackers. From these same levels, archaeologists have also discovered two important seals. These seals were found in a monastery that was situated in the city of Kaushambi, and this monastery was called Ghoshita Ram. And we see that the contents of these two seals provide us the identity of the attackers. The first seal mentions the name Hunraj, whereas the second seal is the seal of the monastery of Goshitaram, and here we see that there are four letters that are restruck on this seal. These four letters are To, Ra, Ma, Na. This clearly refers to Torman, and the act of restrucking the seal of the monastery with his name suggests that Torman wanted to show that now he controls the ancient city and also this monastery. And from the first seal, which mentions the term Hunraj, it is quite clear that here Hunraj is none other than Torman. So from these two important evidence, it is quite clear who the attackers were. These attackers were the Hunas, and they were led personally by Torman. Now it appears that after conquering the ancient city of Kaushambi and destroying it, the next target of the Huns was the city of Varanasi. In Manjushri Moolkalp,
this is what the title of the video when Huns attacked Varan is that Varanas, bro, no, YouTube is gonna think this video is bad now because it has the word not. I don't want to say it. No.
A Buddhist text, it is mentioned that a powerful king from the west had defeated the Gupta armies, and he had conquered territories in the east up to the Ganga river. Now, after conquering these territories, this powerful king from the west installs a young Gupta prince on the Magadhan throne, and then he returns to Kashi, where he fell ill and died. According to historian KP Jaiswal, who
every time I'm like reacting to something, or I'm watching something, or I'm reading something on history, right? And I always hear like this person was suddenly just falling ill. He suddenly fell ill and died, right? And they give like no explanation for it. I always think to myself, right? I'm always like, what if the person was like always ill before, but like when they were close to death, the symptoms began to show, right? For example, um, I feel like a lot of these historical figures that fell ill suddenly, right, and just died. Hold on a second. Let me sit properly on this. I feel like a lot of them may have had something like cancer, right? Because cancer was first recorded in the year 3000 BC, I think. I think it was first recorded in ancient Egypt. I think I could be wrong about that, but it was definitely recorded in the Middle East around 3000 BC. And the person who first recorded it just straight up said, "Yeah, this thing has no cure." Okay. But yeah, I just think to myself, like, a lot of these illnesses that we know of today, I feel like they were always there, but it's like they didn't know. So since they were so ignorant to that stuff, it would just seem like they just suddenly fell ill and just died, right? Because think about it, right? I know a lot of people but there is a lot of people actually who have like cancer and stuff, and they're great. Cancer does take a while to spread. Well, in some cases it can be much more aggressive, but sometimes cancer can take years to spread. And it's just like, what if now, now the cancer just spread to a part that the symptoms of it is just not beginning to show, and then they just die. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I always think to myself, I'm like, wow, what if a lot of these major historical figures that just died from some unknown illness, what if it was something like that, right? What if it was something like cancer or something that we have much more better treatment of, but they just didn't know it? It's like, imagine if they had the technology that we did back then, dude. Just, and if they could live for so much longer, right? It's like, damn, what would time be like? It's just fun. It's just fun, just interesting thinking about that. Really and truly. Okay, going back to the video. Just wanted to leave that thought there.
Who has worked on Manjushri Mool Kalp, this powerful king from west was none other than Torman. Although we do not know whether this information that a Gupta prince was installed on the Magadhan throne by Torman is true or not, but what is certain is that Kashi or Varanasi was under the control of the Hunas. So we can say this because firstly, Manjushri Moolkalp tells us that this powerful king from the west had conquered the territories in the east up to the river Ganga, and then it tells us that this powerful king from the west died in Kashi. So from these two evidence, it is quite clear that the city of Varanasi was under the control of this powerful king from the west. And if KP Jaiswal is correct, most likely Torman had control over the city of Varanasi also. And it makes sense because Torman or the Huns had already control of Kaushambi. So most likely they went and conquered the city of Varanasi also. After conquering the city of Varanasi, it appears that Torman did not venture.
Bro, it's pronouncing the S with a Z sound.
Further east. One reason behind this could be that an agreement had reached between Torman and the Gupta ruler. The information about this agreement comes from Huensang's account. Huensang tells us that the Gupta ruler had refused to pay tribute to Mihir Kula. So from these lines of Huensang's, it is quite clear that earlier the Gupta rulers were paying tribute to the Hunas, and most likely this agreement to pay tribute reached when Torman had conquered the city of Kaushambi and Varanasi. And this was also the reason why Torman did not venture further east. For Torman, this was a good deal. He had control over Varanasi and Kaushambi, and now there was also no threat of any Gupta counterattack. Plus, the Gupta ruler had agreed to pay tribute to him, which meant that now Torman could claim that the Gupta ruler was under his protection. This provided him a certain form of legitimacy. The Gupta rulers of this time were in no way comparable to the Gupta rulers of the past, but the Gupta name still meant something. It provided legitimacy to other rulers. So by agreeing to keep the Gupta ruler under his protection, Torman was basically trying to increase his status. We can think of the situation.
This is basically what I'm getting from this, right? Because I feel like I am missing some context from this. I think I am missing some context because it seems like this is a continuation of a previous video. I don't know. I was just suggested the video to watch, and this is what I searched up, and this is what I got. But this is what I'm getting, right? Foreign invader invades India, right? It's funny because India, the Indian subcontinent, has had so much foreign invasions that like nobody talks about. The only one people really talk about that I see is or should I say because you gotta be grammatically correct. The only ones that people talk about are the British and the Mughals. I don't really see anyone talking about any other foreign invader of India and what they did to India. Like, this is my first time learning that the freaking Huns were all the way in the freaking Indian subcontinent. I thought the Huns just expanded westward. I didn't think they went freaking down southward to the freaking Indian subcontinent. Because I know that the freaking the Hunnic Empire, I know what the heck they did to Europe. Freaking yeah, I know about that, but India, yeah, no, I am completely clueless about that there now. But I don't know. I just find that double standard to be very interesting.
Of these Gupta rulers as similar to the later Mughals. The later Mughals enjoyed a fraction of power.
Oh yeah,
which
he's
the
talking
great
about
Mughals enjoyed,
the Mughals.
but they still carried the Mughal name.
Speak
This
of the
Mughal
devil.
name provided legitimacy to the new powers that were emerging in 18th century India. Something similar was happening to the Gupta ruler who fought Torman. Now here I should add that we are not sure who this Gupta ruler was. Huan Sang tells us that Mihir Kula fought Baladitya, and there are other scholars who argue that Baladitya was also the same Gupta ruler who fought Torman. Baladitya was the title of Narsimhagupt. But there are other scholars who argue that Narsimhagupt did not belong to this period. This confusion is mostly because we know surprisingly very little about the Gupta rulers who were ruling at this time. The lack of resources also explains how bad the situation was with the Gupta Empire during this period. To say that the Gupta Empire was an empire in name only at this time would not be an exaggeration. Now coming back to Torman, having conquered the city of Kaushambi and Varanasi, he had now control over a significant chunk of the Indian subcontinent. He was also the most successful Alkan Hun ruler. But interestingly, when we analyze the coins of Torman, we find that there is no mention of the term Alkan.
Bro, how in the hell do you read that? That looks like complete gibberish. I mean, I can see an outline, but that looks like complete gibberish to me.
Coins of Torman are similar to the coins of other Alkan rulers. But here, the term Alkan is missing, and we see that the Tamga, or the emblem of the Alkan Huns, is also missing in Torman's coins. The absence of the term Alkan and the Tamga suggest that Torman was trying to hide his identity. Why he was doing so? please watch this video when it will be uploaded to get an answer, and you can watch all the videos about the Huna invasion here in this playlist.
Okay, so yeah, I knew it. I knew that this had to have been a continuation of a series or something. I mean, I might probably watch the series because this seemed interesting. It's just that I just didn't completely understand the whole context because it seemed like he was starting off from a different video. So I might react to this whole series, though. This seems very interesting. Plus, I'm pretty sure I do have a bunch of Indian and Turkic people who watch me anyway. So it's like, I'm pretty sure you people wouldn't mind if I reacted to this. I learned more about Indian Turkic history. But if you do have any suggestions for me, make sure you comment it down below. Eventually, I will do it. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you are new. And check out my other reactions on my channel. I have plenty at this point. And thank you for watching and goodbye.